Hello, Sangam. Thank
Yeah.
you so much. Moving ahead, so now we have our next speaker, Arunvel Arunachal. So he is working as a native in a OPREM Kubernetes cluster. He has a 7 years of experience as a DevOps engineer. He is working with the technologies like Docker, Kubernetes, Isito, Anaplace, then GitHub, CI/CD, ELK stack, then OpenShift and OpenStack, Consul, Terraforms, and Vagrant. So over to you, Arunaval.
Okay, yeah. So am I audible, Pooja?
Yes, yes. Go ahead,
I'll
please.
just share my screen also, so you can just give me a confirmation whether the
Yes, sure.
uh, yeah. So the screen is visible,
Yes.
and just one more check. When I'm in my VM, is my voice audible to you?
Yes, it's
So
audible to me.
okay, so it is. Is there, if there is any disturbance, you can kindly just put it in the chat window, so I'll check it. Okay.
Okay, okay, sure. And
Yeah.
just one thing, could you just, whenever you're doing anything in the command prompt, could you just increase the font size if possible?
Yeah. Sure. I'll do that.
Yep.
I'll do that.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, uh, a very good afternoon to all of you. And the topic which I have chosen over here is Knative serverless. But before going to the topic, a big shout out to Ajit and the entire team over here, because the amount of resources that you all are giving in one single day, it's hats off to you all here. Too much of resources. I probably wondered, if I had such access to such resources, 10 years back, because all latest technologies you all are covering over here. So one such latest technology which I am covering over here is Knative, and we'll try to understand what Knative is. Okay, what are the benefits of Knative? Is Knative production ready now? Okay, and why Google is backing Knative now? So we'll try to understand all the nitty-gritty details of Knative, and whether Knative is serverless, or what is serverless over here. So you can see over here that, does serverless term means that there are no servers, or the servers are getting less over here. So, but I probably, it is a personal opinion from my side, I feel that this is the next big thing. In it is coming with addition to Kubernetes. So we'll try to get into the details now. uh, just a brief introduction about me. Pooja has already, given an introduction, but still, I mean, so I work as a senior infrastructure developer for Cognizant Pune. I have 7 years of experience, and the 7 years of experience are completely related to system administration. Then four and a half years for Docker, Kubernetes, Istio as a service mesh, then a CI/CD pipeline. Uh, just because we all are DevOps engineers or application developers. I always believe in this one line over here, that rapid change is the new normal over here. That means that whatever we are speaking over here, the things are going to change, the concepts are going to change. So whatever I'm speaking over here in terms of Knative and in terms of serverless. So if you have any doubt regarding this, this is my, you can find me on LinkedIn with this name over here. If I am not playing with tools, I love to play soccer. That is a great passion which I have. And if I have time, I write blogs also. So you can follow me over here on Medium. So this is my handle over here. Just in case if you all are wondering over here, so what is this over here? So the KN over here is nothing but it is the Knative command line tool. So we'll just try to get into that also. So the talk is completely divided in such a way that it is divided into three components over here. The first one is TLDR. TLDR is an acronym for too long, don't read. So there are many components inside here which are pages and pages. So there is no need of reading all those. I'll give you a brief introduction and explanation of what. Then wherever we require, there is a deep dive required. We'll get into those topics and we'll try to understand the internal working of those topics. And the most important part is the hands-on over here. And so if I go to the hands-on over here, this is the URL where I have put all the entire code over here. So the entire code is on this URL. It is a public repository, so you all can take it anytime. If you want to try this now, you all can try this now with me also. Okay. So now we try to understand what Knative is. Okay. What is the relationship of Knative with Kubernetes, and who is backing Knative? Okay. Whether the Knative is production ready or whether it is only a proof of concept. Okay. Everything. So first of all, I mean, it is an open source project, and it is an open source project which was started by Google in the year 2018, and Google announced it in the Google Cloud Next 2018. So this is when they announced that they are working on something which is called as Knative. Then there are other contributors who joined in. There is IBM, then there is Red Hat, there is Pivotal Cloud Foundry, and there is SAP, and there are many others. I mean, this is the code is entirely open source, written in Go. So this is where the entire code of Knative lives. Okay. If you want to start with Knative, or if you want to start with serverless and try to understand what serverless is, I mean, it's they say that it is a great buzzword. I mean, serverless. So we'll try to understand what serverless is, and this is the place where the entire document of Knative is. Okay. The one line description which Google gives, I mean, Google means Google, the company gives for Knative is that we are bringing the best of serverless to you. So what they're saying is that if you start using Knative, I'm giving you the best of serverless. That is what. Now, if you think of serverless, there is also something which is called as AWS Lambda. Okay. So we'll try to understand what now, but with this one line, the next question which will come in your mind is that, okay, so what is serverless first of all? I mean, there are many definitions for serverless. I mean, the industry is completely divided about the opinion of what is the definition itself of serverless over here. So I have given a very small definition of serverless. The serverless means that your entire focus should only be on running applications, and you should never focus on server management. So maintenance of the server should be down for 10 minutes, the server should be up. So that is not my headache. Now my headache, or my focus, or my team's focus is completely on running the applications. So I'll give it a code, the code should work. That's it. So this is serverless according to me over here, but again, the industry is completely divided in terms of definition over here. Now the base principle in which serverless works, or Knative works, is called as, I'll give you the code. Okay. I'll give you the application code. You just give me the URL. So I'll give you the code, and I'll give you the entire logic of my business. Okay. Whether you want to convert that code into an image, then you want to push that image to a registry, then from the registry you want to deploy it on Kubernetes. Then if I'm deploying it on Kubernetes, then whether I'm using deployment as a resource, whether I'm using stateful set as a resource, whether I'm using daemon set as a resource, that is all not my headache. My headache is that I'll just give you the code. Okay. Or I'll just give you a single function. Okay. You give me the URL of that. The entire deployment part, everything is not my. So this is from an application developers or a system administrator's point of view. This is the entire logic of Knative. Give me the code, I'll give you back the URL. How you are deploying it, it is completely yours. So it is just a platform as a service on Kubernetes. So the most important thing over here, that Knative only works on Kubernetes over here. It is a layer above Kubernetes. Okay. So it is a serverless workload on Kubernetes. Okay. So if you want to deploy functions on Kubernetes, or on Kubernetes you want to deploy functions, we use Knative over here. Okay. Now the functions are also in such as, these are called as single purpose function. That means these functions only do a single role. Okay. Now if there is a function, okay, I should call that function. So how will I call, or how will I invoke that function? The calling of the function in serverless or in Knative is done via a concept which is called as events. So an event will happen, and that event will call that function. Very simple example I'll give you. If you are visiting amazon.com, if you want to buy something, okay, so you just select the product. Okay. And once you select the product, okay, it then again takes you to the payment page. So once my selection of the product is done, okay, an event has happened over here, that event should call the next function, which is the payment gateway, and then it should also call the inventory over here. Okay. So there are many ways in which events the first and the most important thing in Knative is an HTTP request. So I'll give a very simple HTTP request to the URL and my function logic will be displayed. Or there can be event also from an message broker like Apache Kafka. So Apache Kafka is an event streaming platform, or it is also a message broker. So a message is coming so from an Apache Kafka cluster, an event occurs. Or much simpler, if you are trying to upload an image in Google Cloud Storage. So if you try to upload an image in Google Cloud Storage, that is an event which has happened. That event should call the function. Or much better, if you are trying to just update a database table in Amazon Dynamo database. So if you are just trying to update a table, again, that is an event which is happening. That event should call a function. So the summary from this slide over here is that, okay, I give you the code, you give me the URL back. Okay, now how do I call the URL, or how do I call the function? I call the function on the basis of something which is called as events. What are those events? The events can be HTTP request, any upload to the Google Cloud Storage, or any message broker over here. Okay. Now, who is backing Knative and what are the offerings given by the companies? So IBM is betting big on Knative. Then VMware is betting big on Knative with their Tanzu product. Then Google is again betting big on Knative. So Google has its managed offering over here, which is called as Google Cloud Run. Then IBM has its managed Knative, which is called as IBM Cloud Kubernetes Service. Then OpenShift, we have OpenShift Serverless, and Pivotal Foundation or Pivotal Function Server, which is again now acquired by VMware. So this is again part of VMware now. So, and they have their own open source project, which is called as Riff. So these are the companies who are backing or who are betting big on Knative over here. Now, from 2008, that is from July 2018 till now, there are many changes which are happening in the Knative world. I mean, if I would have given this talk 2 months before, there was a third layer over here which was called as Istio. Okay, but now it has changed. So now just to summarize this one diagram over here, I have Kubernetes over here, and I have all the resources, native resources of Kubernetes, like my deployment, my services, so on and so forth. On top of Kubernetes, I will install something which is called as Knative. Now, how do I install Knative on top of Kubernetes? I can install this via the YAML file, and the YAML file which is available. And from the YAML file, to use Knative, I'll get the resources. So this I'll show you in the demo also. Earlier, for the networking component of Knative, okay, to create, so if I'm giving you the code and you should give me the URL back, that means some routing functionality should be defined, some URL should hit to a pod. So that all earlier was looked after by Istio. So Istio is a service mesh. Again, it is it was introduced by Google, and now, but it is, they are saying that we are not looking after the routing perspective in terms of Istio. You can also use Ambassador. You can also use Glue over here. So there is no binding over here that it should be Istio on top of this. So now, very simple, the developer will build and deploy. Now, one more thing I'll just like to add over here is that the build part, okay, was very well explained by Vikas in today's. So if you have followed today's, entire discussion, you might have seen that the build part, how do I build the image? That means I have a GitHub URL, and from that GitHub URL, how my Docker image is getting built. So the build part was earlier part of this entire Knative offering, but now it is shifted to something which is called as Tekton. So that part was explained by Vikas also. So now you can see, so first summary over here is that it will run on top of Kubernetes. I have to deploy Knative over here via the YAML which is provided. And once I deploy Knative on top of Kubernetes, I'll get my own custom resource definitions, the resources which are not native to Kubernetes. And using those custom resource definitions, I can play with Knative over here. So this is what I was telling just now. So Knative has three important components over here. The first component means when it came in the market. So it was build, then serving, and then eventing. But now they have removed the build part over here. And the build part is entirely looked after by Tekton project over here. And it is also called as Tekton Pipelines. And this is what was explained by Vikas today over here. So now Knative has only two important components. The first component is serving over here, and the second component is eventing over here. So we'll try to dig deep into serving and eventing over here. And what are these important components of Knative? Okay. So now we are focusing on Knative serving over here. These are the, so I told you that custom resource definitions, when I install Knative on top of Kubernetes, I'll get some custom resource definition. Okay. So I'll get a custom resource definition, which is a service. Then I'll get a CRD, which is a configuration. I'll get a CRD, which is a root. And also I'll get a CRD, which is called as revision over here. So we'll try to understand what these 4 CRDs of Knative will do for me. And the same thing is explained, I mean, in demo also over here. Okay. So now I'll just first give you the explanation with the code over here. So now if I have to work, okay, on Knative inside my Kubernetes over here, I'll use, or I'll prepare a very simple, I prepared a very simple YAML file over here. Now you can see over here, I'm using the API, but I'm using the API, which is the Knative API and the Knative serving API over here. Okay. Then inside this, there is a CRD, which is called as service. So don't now mix this with the service in Kubernetes. There is a service resource in Kubernetes also, that, and these are 2 different things over here. Okay. So I'll give you an explanation when I'm showing you the demo. So I'm saying that, okay, I'm using the Knative resource over here. I want to deploy a Knative service over here. What is the name you want to give? I want to give the name Hello World Go over here. On which Kubernetes namespace do you want to run it? So I want to run it on the default namespace over here. And what are the specifications over here? So you can see that inside the specifications, I have just given the image name. And now how does the image get built? That is looked after by Tecton. So I'll have my code, and the code will be get converted into image. So now the building part is not in Knative. It is completely, they have removed it from Knative. Now there is only serving and eventing. So I have this image over here. Okay. You go and you take this image. Okay. And you try to deploy this in the Kubernetes cluster, and you give me the URL back. I'm not interested what you are doing behind, whether you are doing deploying a deployment, whether the deployment is again getting converted into replica sets, whether the replica sets again are into pods. So I am not bothered about that. I'll just write this YAML file over here. Okay. Once I write this YAML file, you have to give me the URL back. That is what serverless in terms of Knative, and this will only run on, and then I'm just giving an environment variable over here. Now, once I call this YAML file over here, and you can see that I'm only calling the CRD, which is the service CRD over here. So once I call this YAML file over here, okay, the service in the backend, okay, creates another custom resource, and that custom resource in Knative is called as configuration. Okay. And the service will also create another custom resource, and that custom resource is called as the route. So creation of the route or creation of a network endpoint for, so if I want a URL and I'm hitting a URL, that should give me some network endpoint to which pod or to which service you are referring that. So for that we have a route over here. For the demo purposes, I have used Istio, but again, I'm saying there is no hard and fast rule that you have to go with Istio. You can use any. Okay. So I create a configuration over here. I also create a route over here, but I am just calling the service definition over here. Okay. Then you can see that once the configuration is called, the configuration also creates a revision over here, and this is the most important thing now. So for example, first time if I deploy this, okay. So first, if I have this YAML file over here, and if I deploy this, okay, the service will create another CRT, which is called as configuration. And it is the configuration which decides that I have to then deploy deployments. I have to use which image. Okay, so the image reference, that is all looked after by the configuration resource in Knative over here. Okay, now then what I do is that after this, so once if I deploy this, okay, and if I want to change the environment variable, for example, so next time if I change the environment variable, okay, the first deployment snapshot is taken. That means at that point, what all configuration details were there, a snapshot of that configuration details are taken, and that is stored in something which is called as revisions over here. So we'll check this with the demo. So that is stored in a revision over here. Then if I change the environment variable, a new revision is created. Okay. And for that new revision, all the details of the, so all changes which I make in my code, okay, the changes of the code, everything, a point in snapshot is taken, and that snapshot in the Knative terms or in the Knative serverless term is called as revision over here. So what I'll do is that I'll first show you the demo so that it is much more clear to you over here. So I have my Kubernetes cluster. I have already installed Knative over here. and I have a very simple, okay, YAML file over here. And in this YAML file, I'm saying that, okay, I'm calling the API version of Knative, then I'm using the service kind, but this is the Knative service kind. Then I'm saying that I want this to be given a name, so I'm giving it app demo. It should run on the default namespace. I'm giving my own image over here, and I'm saying that, okay, the environment variable which I'm giving is environment1, and I'll call it as SQL. Okay, so this is the environment variable which will be inside my container. Okay, by default, now just one more thing, by default when you run a service YAML, okay, a Knative service YAML over here, it will run on port number 8080. So if I don't give a port number over here, by default it will run on port number 8080. If your service or if your application is running on some other port number, then you have to give it, or you have to mention this. So I have mentioned it over here that my application, when, okay, it is running on the container port 8000 over here. So this is a very simple, okay, YAML file over here, and now we'll try to see how Knative is working behind the scenes. So I have over here now, this is I have a directory. So this is the code which I have pasted also in the GitHub link over here. So now over here, if you can see that I have two directories. One is the eventing and one is the serving. We'll try to see both the components over here. First, we are working on serving, Knative serving. So Knative serving only focuses on HTTP protocol. It does not focus on the PubSub or Apache Kafka or Camel. So it does not focus on those protocols. It only focuses on HTTP. That means you give me an image, I'll give you an URL back. So that is what I'll do now. I'll try to first, I'll try to check whether, so I'll try to, yeah, so I'll try to now run this. So you will see that now when I run this, okay, and this is the YAML file. Once again, I'm showing you. So this is the YAML file. Automatically a deployment in Kubernetes will be created. Automatically a pod in Kubernetes will be created. Okay, automatically a URL for that service will be given, and that URL and everything, that how it is generated, we'll see. So now if I just enter this command over here, you can see that, okay, so now what it is telling me that, okay, serving service is ready, okay, and the name which you have done, and it is created. So now if I just do kubectl get, if I have to check any services in Knative, okay, and if I have to check services in Kubernetes, so to check services in Kubernetes, we use this command kubectl get service svc. But if I want to check a Knative service over here, I'll do this. So now it is telling me that, okay, this is the, I mean, service which you have. We have automatically, we are giving you an URL. So automatically it has done the deployment part for me. Automatically everything it has done for me. And then it is telling me that the service name is app demo. Okay. And it is also telling me that the service is ready. So now I just created a service, but I told you that there are 3 more resources in Knative serving. So we'll check those resources. If I want to check the routes now, so it is telling me that, okay, this is the URL which I have given you, and this URL will be called to an endpoint, a network endpoint over here. That means your application is available in this URL over here. Okay. So my service creates route and configuration. So I'll check configuration also, kubectl get. If I do config over here, these are all resources of Knative, Knative serving concept. So it is telling me that, okay, a configuration is, now I'll try to describe what is there inside the configuration. So if I do kubectl describe config and give the configuration name. So this is the configuration name. So it is telling me that, okay, you created a service, but the service created a revision for you. So I told you that once the service is created, it will create a configuration and route for you, and the configuration will take a point in snapshot, and that point in snapshot in the Knative world is called as revision over here. So it is telling me that I have taken a revision. So what is a revision? If I have to check now, so kubectl get revision. So it is telling me that, I'll just check this. So kubectl get revision. It is telling me that, okay, your application was given via the service. The service then had a configuration. The configuration created a revision. That means the configuration took the point snapshot at that time. So you have now revision 1 over here. Okay. Now I have to check, okay, this is fine, but I have to check whether, and now I have to check, okay, underlying Kubernetes has created pods or not. So we'll check that also. So now there is one great thing over here, terminating, and we'll try to cover that also. Okay, so now what is happening is that, okay, I have to check whether the application is working or not. That is the main thing over here. So I have just written one very small script over here. So I'll try to run that. So if I want to check whether the application, so if I run the script over here, it will just do a curl command to that URL and it will give me the output over here. So now if I run this over here, now why this time is taking, everything we'll try to cover, I mean. So now if I try to run this over here, yeah, so it is telling me that, okay, your application is running, and you can see over here that when I do a curl, it is giving me this output over here. And now we'll try to check this, what is happening. So, and we'll try to do a minus W. So now you see that there was, the pod was terminating. So you might ask me the question that, Arun, the pod was terminating over here, but how come it is into a running state over here? And the pod has two containers over here, but you gave only one image. So one container is the image container, and second is a container which is called as kubeproxy. So we'll try to see that also what is happening. Now I want to show you one very important thing over here, is that now this is what it is doing, and it is running over here, or we'll keep this as it is. Now what I'll do is that I'd like to change something over here. So what I do is that I have the same service YAML file over here, but I'll use a different image over here this time, and I'll change the environment also. I'll make it environment 2, and I'll say that this time it is no SQL. Okay, and the container port remains the same. So this time what I'm doing is that the same service with the name app demo, but I'm giving it a different image name, and I'm giving it an environment variable also different. And I'll try to deploy this, and we'll see what happens in terms of review. So we'll try to apply this. So now if I try to apply this, okay, now I have changed something. So it is telling that, okay, you have changed, and now we'll try to see what has changed over here. So first thing, we'll try to see whether the service has changed. No, the service and the URL is same, but I have changed the image and I have changed the variables also. Then I'll try to see whether the configuration, that means the Knative configuration, has changed. So kubectl get config, no. But the most important thing, and this is the beauty of Knative over here. So if I type over here kube get revisions, and we'll just check. I mean, it is maybe taking, so yeah, it is. We'd like to once again, maybe I have not saved this, so we'll try to save this and then run it, maybe, yeah. So I'll try to run it once again, and we'll just share that. So there will be a second revision over here, and that is the most important thing. That is what Knative is giving me. So I have now made the changes, I have saved the changes, and now I'll check. And now this is the beauty of Knative for you. Now it has created another snapshot, point-in snapshot of that. So the environment SQL was for this revision, okay, and the environment no SQL was for this revision. So I can now anytime change to revision 1, anytime I can move to 3. So this is what the Knative revision, and this revision is created by the configuration. So now it is telling me over here that, okay, yeah, the image you gave me, and I have created a URL for that. The URL has 2 revisions now. Okay, this is app demo revision 1. This is app demo revision 2 over here. And now if I try to run the script over here, which is this, now you will see that the curl command is giving me a different output. Why? Because I tried to use a different image over here. Okay, so this is, and again, if I try to, so if I environment 4 over here, and
okay, Arun, we have some questions. Would you like to take it?
yes, or probably I'll try to finish and then I'll take it later on.
Okay, so fine. We have more some time only.
How much we have? How much we have?
We have 10.
Okay.
10 minutes around.
Okay, fine. So I'll just now try to show you the most important thing inside Knative world and inside serverless world is, I'll try to show you what that is. So now if you see over here, okay, the best thing about Knative is that it will, if application, if the URL, now for example, if I have created a service over here, I'm getting a URL, but nobody is trying to, I mean, access the URL. So obviously if nobody is trying to access the URL, that means there is no traffic. The best thing about Knative is that if there is no traffic, okay, then it will scale down your pod to 0. That means it will completely take your pod, and there will be no pod which is serving your applications over here. So you can only pay for the amount of time your service is running. Then the next question in your mind will be that, Arun, here, but I'm running an application in production, and you are saying that if there is no traffic and it is taking it down, what if again traffic comes up? Again traffic comes up, it will again take your application, or it will again take your application up, or means it will create a pod for that. And that is, so scale down to zero is the best feature which Knative is offering over here. So these are just some things over here which service is doing, which I showed you. So this is the thing in which the diagram. So I'll just create a service over here. The service will create a configuration. The configuration at the backend will create deployment for Kubernetes. Okay. And replica sets for Kubernetes. So the service will also create a route over here. And for this, we use Istio over here, but I'm not getting into the details of Istio over here now. And if I change something inside my service YAML, okay, revisions are created over here. And on the basis of the revisions, I can send the traffic. So just to show you one more thing over here, and we'll get to scale. So if now you can see over here, automatically my pods are terminating over here. Now why my, it is very obvious why my pods are terminating over here, because there is no traffic. I'm not hitting the URL. That is why there are no traffic over here. So this is the advantage. Pay for only how much your function is running for that time. So now you can see that, okay, automatically and there is no traffic to my pod, so it is terminating automatically. But now what I'll do is that I'll try to hit this. That means I'll try to send that traffic over here. So if I try to send the traffic over here, I'm doing the curl command, and you'll see automatically. And this is the beauty of Knative for you. And this is why I completely believe that it is the next big thing in the market over here. So you can see that I have completely scaled down to zero. But once the traffic is there automatically, you can see that now my application is running. And if obviously my application is running, I have to get the output over here also. Okay. And with this, some more features I'll try to cover over here. So this is what you can see over here. Now what I do is that I have another file over here in which now in this, what is happening over here, that I'm using the same Knative service resource over here. And now I want to split. So if you all have used Istio over here, you might understand that if we have to split traffic, we have to create virtual resources, destination rule, so on and so forth. The beauty of Knative now, if you have to split traffic over here, okay, you just call the revision name over here. So by default, it will generate revision names over here, or we can give our own revision names also. So I'll just do that. I want to split the traffic now between two revisions over here now. So what I'll do is that I'll get the revisions, and I'll just, so these are default, or these names are given by the resources. We can give our own name also. So what I'll do is that I'll say, okay, this is, so I want to split traffic between the revisions now. And I want to split 50-50 traffic. So this can be used for, canary or for AB deployment also. So now, yeah, so I'm saying that, okay, or better, I'll go for an 80 or 70-30. I'll go for a 70-30 now. So between these two revisions of my, okay. And now what I'll do is that I'll try to deploy this. So if I try to deploy this, yeah, so if I try to deploy this, automatically you'll see that a third revision is being created. So anytime I make a change to the service.yaml file, you'll see that a third revision is being created over here. And now by default, all the revision goes to the latest. All the traffic or all the route goes to the latest revision over here. So now it is in a deploying state, but once it is in a ready state over here, so once we have this in a ready state, we'll try to curl and we'll try to check what is happening. Yeah, so now it is the third revision. That means this generation number where, and in this generation number, what I have mentioned is that I have mentioned that, okay, to this revision, that means to the version 1, I want 70%, and to the version 2, I want 30%. So we'll again try to run the script over here. So if I run this now, you'll see that 70-30% the traffic will get split over here. And this is the same service which I created. So this is the same service which I created, the same service So now why this is happening is that because there was no traffic, the pods were getting terminating, and then once the traffic comes, the pod again gets created. So now you can see that, okay, the first, okay, so now it is all 3 requests are going for the hello Docker container message. Okay.
Okay, so Arun, let's go ahead with the questions now. I have two questions. Is there a way to specify the type of deployment in service CRD like replica sets or replica?
No, by default, it will create deployments for you. I mean, so
Okay.
it is just, I mean, yeah. So if anyone has asked this question, I mean, most of the service things are now in POC, proof of concept phases. I mean,
Mhm.
so as of now, they have deployments which get created via the configuration.
Okay. The second one, are there any warm-up pods pre-created by Knative to serve the workload equally quickly?
So what happens is that now if you have seen that if I have created a service and if the service is not getting traffic for example, for a period of 30 seconds, then it takes
Mhm.
down the service. Okay. And till that time, if I'm sending a request, this request gets sent or the request is received by another deployment inside Knative, and that is called as activator. So the activator keeps it in the buffer, or the activator holds that for a period of time, and then the
Mhm.
activator redirects it to the revision which comes up. I mean,
Okay,
so
one more question. How the end customer will be charged? Same as a Lambda?
yes, it is only for the basis of when you are calling the service. I mean,
Okay.
yeah. So it is not that. So as soon as I'm not calling the service, you will see that the Knative will automatically terminate my service over here.
Okay, and is there any limitations like Lambda, they have the 15 minutes?
No, here there are many limitations. I mean, the first, I mean, because this is in POC, so the first limitation itself is that we cannot have stateful applications over here. Stateful applications means now if I want a database and I want a volume, persistent volume to that database also.
Mhm.
So as of now, for Knative, there is only, these are only for state less applications. I mean, so you have a code and I'll give you the URL, and the URL is a stateless URL. I mean,
Okay, okay. So,
so if I have time to show one more thing, or I
okay,
mean,
we are just having a 3 minutes more.
yeah, so
Is it
just, I mean,
sufficient?
just one more demo I'll show you. So this is, now you can see that, okay, scale down to 0 is the thing. Scale down to 0 means if you're not calling the service, I'm terminating the service. But what about scaling up? So suddenly, if for example it is New Year's Day and traffic is coming a lot to my application, what for that? So for that also, I'll try to show you over here. I have a script over here. If I run that script now, so what that script is doing, first I'll try to show you that. So if I uh, yeah, so if I have this, yeah, a load.sh. So what I'm doing over here is that I'm sending 600 requests to a pod. Okay, and the each request is being sent 0.5 seconds. That means in 1 second I'll send 300 requests, and I'm sending it to the URL in which my application is running over here. And now we'll see that, okay, if I'm sending this much of traffic and I'm using Hey tool over here, so this is a tool which is used a lot to send to do load testing and all. So if I run the script over here now, and you will see that automatically. So yeah, okay, so if I do this automatically, now my Hey will send the load, dummy load, or it will hit the URL over there. And once it is hitting the URL, I'll show you over here that automatically it is doing scaling for me also. So you can, so those who are working in Kubernetes might know that, I mean, if I have to do this in Kubernetes, I have to create the HPA, horizontal pod autoscaler, the horizontal. So now once again I'll run this. So this is telling me, so if, I mean, so I'm trying to send 600 requests. I mean, 600 requests, that means 600 curl requests to this URL of mine. And we'd like to see what is happening over here. So yeah, and now we'll try to see. So you'll see that automatically now it is running the pods for me, and it is doing scaling up also for me. So this is the best thing. I mean, on the basis of the traffic, it will scale the application up for you. On the basis of no traffic, it will scale the applications down for you also. And it does not mean that if your application is down, you cannot hit the URL. You will hit the URL, but there is a time lag in between in which you'll not get the URL back. But again, I can change that according to the service level agreements of mine. So this is what is. So I guess that this is, I mean, there is a lot to talk or to explain in Knative. I mean, the eventing function itself is very heavy in Knative. But I guess if there are any questions, I mean, I'm open for those questions so that.
No, there are no more questions right now. So thank you so much, Arun, for this informative session. I really hope that our audience are going to get this, and it's going to be a very helpful session for them. Thank
Okay,
you
yeah,
so
thank
much.
you. Thank you. Thank you, Pooja. Yeah.
So moving ahead, guys, we have our next speaker, Nicholas Frankel.